I mean, that is so, but that's,
That's
I know.
a good example, because,
yeah.
because that's a really awful thing to
But
say.
people are going, oh my God,
But,
oh my God.
but, saying that again about you is
Yeah.
different than saying that about her. She's not an elected public official.
Or even saying it about an employee,
Correct.
because.
Even saying
it's
about an
different.
employee.
Yeah.
As an elected official, the law protects people to
So they
criticize.
protect everybody but us.
Kinda.
And
Well,
It kind of looked like that.
it isn't that they protect everybody but us, but they
Right now,
apply,
I'm
the law
trying
applies a different standard. The law applies a different standard. So, and the reason for that is to allow the criticism of public officials. It says, you don't want that? Don't be a public official.
No, but I'm just saying that when they say bold-faced lies,
Now, okay, now.
that is a bold-faced
now,
lie
bold-faced
of
lie.
them saying that down there,
All right, so there's
saying
lies
that
in
on
it.
Facebook about me
Is that what
getting into the box and taking out the votes. We have nothing to do with that. The city has nothing to do with it. We don't have keys. But that's just an example of one thing that we have to put up with.
But I think
The
that's the
lies.
point,
So,
is as a public
What I'm trying to say is, you're subjected to all kinds of criticism unless the person speaking the criticism knows that it's not true, and they repeat it anyway. Can't do that. So,
So someone could say, since we're talking about this
Yeah.
example, someone could say, I believe that, and there isn't anything we could do unless Judy or I or you had a conversation with them and said, no, your assumption is totally incorrect. The city does not have keys. It's picked up by the election.
conversation isn't
And
gonna
then
do
they
it.
still did that anyway.
Conversation isn't gonna do it. No,
That's
no,
still,
you,
Judy or I wouldn't have the ability to say, you know, you were told what the process is and you're still lying about it.
no, but, in the example that we're using, if, the election board investigated, for example, and found that, no, you don't have keys, you don't have the ability to do that, and a person knew that the investigation had been conducted and you don't have the keys, and they criticize you anyway, now that's different. See?
Okay.
So all these things that they're saying about me on Facebook, you can chalk it up to stupidity that they didn't know. I mean, that's pretty,
And your vulnerability as an elected official. Yes. I know, but that's the way it is.
So one of the things I wondered about, and I think maybe in the past, that's kind of the way it was, or it seemed like it was, in the council, is so, and we were talking about just council, not city administrator, but council. So when a complaint comes in against a councilor, is there a way, or does it seem appropriate for council to handle those complaints? So that comes into council about a specific councilor, council as a body,
wouldn't that go to the HR person?
but we're not employees.
Right. So and Councilor Apple was here when we had this discussion back in November of 2015.
Okay.
And so, back then, the discussion was to let the complaint come in, get logged, and it would go to HR. They would document it, and then they'd get it to the mayor or mayor and council president. Hey, this came in, here you go. And then either the mayor, council president, or both could say, okay, what do we have? Well, it's this alleged, okay? So they could guide the HR person and say, hey, okay, so this is the allegation. What are you going to investigate? Well, I'll check this, this, and this, and I'll bring it back to you. Okay, so that was the key point, was that even though the HR person did it, it always came back to the mayor and the council president once it was complete, so that y'all could decide what to do with it. Okay, and so that was the reason for that. it keeps space on it, gives you some space. So you're not saying, well, Council Forgan is good, they're good buds, you know, so you try to stay away from that. And I know we're going through crazy times, but 99.9% of the time, this process will work, okay? Go into HR, they log it, and here's the other thing. An employee can be held accountable, okay? Can be held accountable if they don't follow the guidelines that are set out they're supposed to follow.
You mean for the a council complaint?
Yes, for a council or any complaint, because they can be held accountable if they don't follow it, if they don't follow the process that you guys line out.
So that protects us from not looking like we're playing favorites with one another. It also gives us the opportunity to see the complaint and rule as a body about how we want to affect our body.
Exactly.
Individual.
Yep.
Body.
And like I said, y'all can set it up to where it comes in, it goes to the mayor and council president, the review, okay, next steps, what would you like for next steps, okay?
So here's my next question about that. When a complaint would come in, then would the person who's being complained about be recognized, be told right away, or would it wait until it came to the council as a body?
That's gonna be up to what you all line out, so, however you all wanna do it, okay? All right, because again, it comes right back to what Councilor Carpenter just said. You're elected officials, okay? You're here representatives of the people. So, you all, that's what makes this so difficult, is because you are elected officials, okay? And now, in Cresswell, I did read about a public admonishment on a counselor, and what they did is the council, with the signature of the mayor, they wrote a letter of admonishment to one of their members, okay? And
So is
stated,
that like a censure?
yes, it was a written censure.
Okay.
Like, Mr. Smith, that behavior was totally in violation of our rules of decorum and city code, blah, blah, blah. That can't occur in our meetings, okay? And then, I do not recall if just the mayor signed it or if they all signed it, but I do know that they did it in open session and they did a letter of admonishment, okay? So again, this is a difficult thing to gel out, okay? When it comes to the council, okay? That's the thought process you all need to think about. What would you like done? So every one of us as human beings, some days we have good days, some days we don't. Okay, all right. Some days we stay calm, some days we don't. That's always. I don't care who it is. Okay, all of us. So that's one of the base pieces you might want to work on. Is do we want to work on firm up our rules of decorum, or loosen them up, or throw them out, or what standard do we want to use? That do you want to use on yourselves? As I stated, one of them is your code of ethics. You could just take out 3 or 4 pieces that are important to you all, okay? Or you could use the whole code of ethics, but it depends on how you want to do it. So, for example, I think one of them in there might be, if I recall, I guess on the first page, because I think we've all stepped on this one a little bit, it's,
What is
1, 2, 3, conduct public deliberations and processes openly unless legal or confidential in an atmosphere of respect and civility, okay? that's an area that I'll include myself, that we are weak in sometimes, okay?
Where are you looking at?
First page
Of
is
the code of,
the
personal
code,
code of conduct.
and, right here. And then, contact, yes. So that's one. So I know that's one that we all gotta work on a little bit because we're human and we get heated sometimes and we get at each other sometimes. So that's something to think about. Is that one that you want to have on your list of really working on our conduct in public meetings, such as, you know, trying to work on our demeanor, those kind of things?
Sure, okay. I'm not sure what you're saying, because I thought we were just gonna go through all of,
Well, that's one, so, well, okay.
we're not going through the code of ethics, we're going through the process of the
Right.
complaint.
Right, so one of the things is you got the process of complaint, but what standards are you gonna hold yourself to? What parts of the code of ethics are you gonna hold yourself? Are you gonna hold yourself to the whole thing?
Well,
Are you
yeah.
gonna hold yourself to
Yeah, if
core
we're not gonna hold
areas?
ourselves to the whole thing of the code of ethics,
Okay.
then we should eliminate those things that we don't think we should hold ourselves to, because then it becomes moot, at least in my opinion. I mean, either it's all or nothing in this case.
Okay,
Um,
so then we're gonna use the full code.
I mean, that would be my opinion, that's.
No, I think,
That's
well,
just my
We have to
opinion.
sign it, so I mean. if we
Well,
kind of
well,
want to-
except that
Right, exactly,
I have a problem.
that's right, you have to sign it.
I have a problem with number 8, for example. I'll read it. It says disclosure of corruption. Everyone shall take an oath upon assuming office, pledging to uphold the Constitution and laws of the city, the state, and the federal government. As part of this oath, officials commit to disclosing to the appropriate authorities and/or to city council any behavior or action that may qualify as corruption, abuse, fraud, bribery, or other violation of law.
I disagree with that.
You disagree with it?
Yeah, because that should, if it's corruption, abuse, fraud, bribery, or other violations of law, it goes to the police department.
Yeah.
That says disclose to the appropriate authorities.
Oh.
And or.
and it was just and/or.
Yeah. The problem I have with that is it sets us up as, I don't know, we have to be the arbiter, we have to decide that something may qualify as corruption, abuse, fraud, bribery, or other violation of law. That's not my job.
Oh, I don't see it that way. I see it as if you come across something that you have questioned that may be one of those,
Right,
just report it. I think that's all that is saying.
so for example, remember when we were sitting in the admin committee, you and I said, I have heard that there is some sort of craziness going down on at what we used to call Randy Land, but it didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Remember when I said that to you? Because it was like, I don't know what to do with this information, but it could be
It could have been a criminal act,
a criminal act, right?
and then I passed it on to the appropriate people.
Right,
Correct.
but I didn't want to make a judgment as to whether it was, or even find out whether it was or not.
Right. Yeah.
So I understand that, but I didn't think we were gonna go through the code of ethics, I thought we were just gonna go through the process.
So,
How do we
I'm
want
good
to
with
do
that. Yeah, so process, so let's get back to this page and cut it up
We're
then.
just trying to determine if a complaint is made, what is the basis for the complaint?
Right, the
And how,
process.
and what, no, not the process, but how is the validity of the complaint measured?
Well, I think the validity of the complaint is measured by the code of ethics. Now,
Right.
we may have to in the future review the code of ethics to make sure that it's
Right.
what we want it to say.
Right, so this whole
Right.
segue was just to give you an idea
Okay.
of parts of the code of ethics that could apply broadly.
Patience.
Yeah, patience.
So yes, thank you. Yes, the validity of the complaint and how does it where does it land?
Well, you know, and just because we're on number 8, thanks Gary for bringing that up, because we did have a rather long discussion at a meeting at Green Waters where it was stated that why would we contact the city attorney? This is why. When we as counselors see something that we perceive to be inappropriate, we don't sit on it, we don't ask anybody's permission, we report it.
Right.
Why do you report it to the city attorney? What's he
Why
gonna do
would we
about it?
report it, we would report it to anybody.
Well,
Well, isn't the city?
who are you gonna report it to? That's the question.
That's right. We
So,
have to-
so
who's
it-
appropriate.
So the key word is the appropriate person depending on what it is. So for example, if it's a criminal case, and let's say it's on one of y'all, then the PD would probably take that and ship it to somebody else. Okay? So that there's fairness, no appearance of bias, those kind of things, so you just send it down the road to somebody else, so if there's a criminal case. If there's a potential violation of ordinance or charter, yeah, that, you might report that to the city attorney, so that they could use it as a learning opportunity. Most of the time is what they try to do with those, because they are
A
there.
violation of ordinance or code by whom?
Like say yourselves,
No, you can't report that to the city attorney because he is our attorney. So
right?
he would be defending us.
Correct.
So you wouldn't be reporting an alleged violation to him. He's your
But
lawyer.
isn't his main job to take care of the city?
Right.
And if people within the city are doing something illegal, isn't that who you would report it to?
When you say people within the city, do you mean the city council?
City council?
City council is government. The lawyer's job is to protect the government, which is the city council. So no, you would not report it,
Well, it's their
The
job.
the attorney's job is to protect the entity, which is the corporation,
Right.
Which
not
is
the
the
government.
city, not the government.
Not the government. He'll throw the government under the bus if he has to.
Yep, that's correct. It is the corporation first, then the rest of us. But the corporation is what their job is to protect and take care of first and foremost. And so he's right, it will throw us under the bus.
Is the city attorney then a finder of fact?
Can be at times, depending on what it is.
So then, who would then be the trier of fact?
It would be more than likely the circuit court, so the next level of court, next available court would be the circuit court. So anything that they have would jump to the circuit court.
So, would it be your opinion that as a finder of fact, the city attorney goes, oops, wonderful news, but I can't do this, and kick it to the PD or to Wayne Sheriff or whoever?
They could,
It could.
yes, yes, very well could.
So, if I have a suspicion somebody's dealing drugs inside City Hall, or Public Works, or the library, don't really care, who am I gonna talk to?
I would do the, yeah,
PD first,
yeah.
and then PD first, and then let the administrator know also, so that they're in the loop. So, again, it depends. We've had cases over the last 25 years where there's been state police who have came in and done cases to keep separation and things like that. So, it's not unusual to kick cases away from the city so that there's no bias. So I want to reel back to where Councilor Goldman was at. Just to close that piece real quick, so is just so everyone is on the same sheet of music. Yes, the city attorney is there for, again, the corporation first, then the government, and then staff. So that's what he's there for. But he's also there to take care of you. So his job is to take care of you. Okay? His intent is not to throw you under the bus on the first chance. No, that's not his intent. His intent is to guide and teach. Okay, and hopefully we learn from the guidance that he gives us. So that's his,
So I have, with regard to that, I have a written opinion,
From who?
from an attorney.
so.
From whose attorney?
Well, no, this is a good opinion. I